Hi, everybody. Shivoso here with Phina, and we're here to give you the full moon report and the energies for the next 2 weeks. It's been pretty exciting, and I think it's going to continue to be kind of exciting. I like that word exciting because it is a little more positive than what it could be for other people. Uh, so we don't want to you know, spend too much time doing the intro, but I'll just want to bring Fina into this and ask her, what do you feel is going on for the next couple of weeks?
Hey everyone. Well, I would like to start by saying, as always, that there are two streams. You have the intuitives that are a little bit earlier with picking up on the energy. So, what I'm going to discuss, it could also be that you have also already been given a taste of this. And if you feel that it is new information for you, this is the energy that is going to be there for the collective in the next couple of weeks. As a general energy, you were talking about challenging. Well, here outside it is stormy weather. It's also the Netherlands, but and this also relates to what I am picking up from the collective. There's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of distress going on. Um, and we talked earlier about at these times to connect to each other. And I really want to emphasize this again. We are in such a big, massive shift. 2024 is going to be super important in what we're doing. Like I said, it can bring up a lot. So we can support each other, we can help each other, as long as we're coming from love. It can be with insights, a good conversation. Maybe you have a certain gift that you can offer to the other, even if it's just a friendly conversation that can already lift the spirit, or sing a song, or bring your brightness some other way. So, yeah, I wanted to start with that. And then I have for you balancing out the feminine and the masculine. Now, every single one of us has the presence of masculine and feminine energy inside of us. And each of us has a unique balance. And now Shivoso, he does birth charts as well. And for me, a birth chart was really insightful or insightful, I have to say, a confirmation of how I felt that the energies were present in myself. Because my chart said 50-50. That's also how I feel, and maybe you can feel out how these energies are present in you. Now, for the feminine, sometimes when we are in distress, the masculine side can take over. There's never anything wrong with that, but it's really fun to explore. When do these energies arise? When do I feel safe enough to let my feminine energy be there? Because that is what we love, we feminines, to also be held in a safe container by the masculines. And I'm not talking only about the men, but also by our inner masculines, to hold a safe container for our feminines. And the feminine is a softer, more flowy energy. Probably if you're watching readings, you have some knowledge yourself about this. So try to play with this, maybe, or to keep a feel to it, like how and in what situations can my feminine really come out. When am I going into the masculine? Today I've been working on a desk, drilling new holes in the wall. So then my masculine also really comes out. I go into action, and I'm really you know, action oriented. And um, yeah, right now I feel more calm, more connected to my intuition, and I'm more in my feminine energy. So that's something fun to play with. Then, as the next point, I have practicing with the art of detaching. And this is a very interesting one because we can be attached to almost anything. Now, the main subject where people feel attachment over is money, is love, is outcome. So, those three things, yeah, whenever we are really struggling or too much focused on, hey, it has to go this way, and if it doesn't go that way, then really I'm really sad, I'm really angry. And to see where you are holding on to an outcome, and this can be a challenge because the mind loves control. But the thing is, the more control, and probably you know this, the more control we want to have over a situation, the less we have it. So we can even see with our connections, like, what is serving us, what is not, which environments are serving us, which is not, where do I feel my energy flow, and to really follow that natural current. It's a challenge. We're right there with you, but it's being asked in the energy right now to yeah, to explore that a bit more. Then I have core wounds. Yeah, I've also been talking about that a little bit the last time, and I feel a lot of compassion for everyone who is really moving into their deeper parts, um, because things are being emphasized at this moment, being enlarged, inner child wounding, trauma, patterns. It's never fun to look at. That's why I feel that there are two streams at this moment. Either you are going to walk the path of destruction and look away, and distraction can be anything from losing yourself in an app, or to seek um, company when you know you have some inner work to do. And it's a really good time for reflection, for learning, for the people who feel more that they are drawing inward and going to do the inner work. Man, you are being also supported. This emphasis on the core wounds, it's also to help you, to show you what is there, and to bring it out into the light. So, mm, yeah, and I feel for you. And also, yeah, the group that is choosing distraction, I'm sorry, but it is going to come back to you for sure. So feel it out for yourself. A lot of people work through their patterns just fine, and then you don't have to turn that much inward, and you know who you are or which group you belong to, and then maybe you can help those that are with with these struggles and situations, because like I said, we need each other. And then last but not least, connecting to source. We are really often focused on everything that's going on in the world right now, in what we see in the news, what is going on around us or inside us. And it's really helpful when we connect to, I call it source, some call it God, others don't believe in higher energy, but that's up to you. Whatever you can do to bring some positive energy towards yourself, some joy, some love. For the people who connect to spirituality, whether you call it universe or God, see if you can make it a practice to connect every day to source, to your heart, and to move from there. And that is it. That is all that I have for today. And I'm really, really curious how it's going to connect to you, Shiv, to
Uh,
the planet.
you did it again, very well, because you definitely nailed some of the aspects that we're dealing with this week, this next couple of weeks, this whole month. It's a pretty turbulent time, is what I said in my written report last time, that we're just in a turbulent time because the moon is doing such a rapid fire dance with the planets, because the planets are pretty well clustered together on one side of the sky. And so the moon will aspect them fairly rapidly, and our moods change a lot. And that can kind of lead to some internal turbulence or external turbulence where it's like it's this way and that way. The mood changes. People seem to be all over the place, and that can add to some stress for all of us. And we might feel a little confused, or even a little schizophrenic, or be just fatigued from the constant, like, having to field all of these different feelings and emotions and moods. And it's funny because you said non-attachment, or less attachment. And that's exactly how you handle these energies. This is not anything really unique. The planets do this fairly frequently, where it's kind of an annual thing where a lot of the larger planets are all on one side of the sky, and then the smaller planets will all kind of swing around, and they're all kind of there at the same time too. For the next 5 months or so, we're going to have these uh, clusterings of planets, and then the moon does some pretty rapid fire stuff. After July, it spreads out. They eventually sort of start moving around the sky a little further, and so we get a little more breathing space. But right now, it's really bringing some less attachment, less taking it less seriously, and recognizing it's going to change pretty fast. So you kind of want to get a more of a survey and step back. So what I was saying in my written report is it's kind of an opportunity for us to practice being able to be patient with ourselves and wait for the next bit of information that comes along, because each one is true. Just because they're changing doesn't mean they're untrue. It just means, oh, they're just part of the story. And so as the day goes along and the hours change, and the week goes along, you'll see that your mood is really different a lot. And so if you're less gripping on to how you feel and attaching to the story that comes up, the less confused you'll be when it switches. And also the more likely you'll be more in alignment with how you truly want things to be, or how things actually are. Just have to wait a little while and let it get a gestalt of all the feelings. So there was that. Also, you mentioned the balancing masculine and feminine, which is incredibly ironic because Mars and Venus are conjunct right now, and they have been dancing conjunct for a little while. But they really got exact this week and past each other, and now they'll be separating as we get towards the full moon. But it's definitely this masculine feminine is one way to look at it, yin and yang, um, go and quality, the go juice and the quality juice, the beauty and harmony with get it done. And so there's an opportunity for conflict for sure between those two values, but also because they're riding together in the same car, more or less, they can also just enjoy the ride. They can work together to head in a direction. So it's also about finding what life directions you really are wanting from your highest self, your best self. It's balancing your relationships. It's finding a way to manage your money and things you value in a good way, in an assertive but not aggressive way, one that serves the big picture. So it's this really great opportunity for the work. I mean, we just went through the um, Valentine's Day portal, which brought relationships right to the fore. And for some people, that was amazing and great and wonderful and sexy and fun. And for other people, it was, oh shit, things aren't going well. It just brought all the stuff up that wasn't going well. And so either breakups or arguments or disconnections could have happened right around that time because the Mars and Venus are trying to work it out. So you got to see from the big picture that this is actually for our benefit. And it's an opportunity for us to kind of get things straight in our relationships and get right for ourselves and our life direction. So that's the Mars and Venus together. Um, the full moon happens on February 24th. We're doing this a little early. So it's at 4:30 p.m. On the west coast of the United States. It'll be different for everybody else. And at the same time, we've got the sun opposing the moon, obviously, because it's the full moon. We've also got Saturn and Mercury right there. They're kind of conjunct the sun, and they have been for a few days. And that Saturn is that masculine, protective, security, limitations, do it right, kind of paternal energy. And Mercury is the mind, right? And the sun is the self. So it's kind of a really great time to get things done, to get your lists taken care of, to check things off, and to be organized about the direction you're going. So if you don't get overwhelmed by the amount of things that sort of need to get done, then you can make make some really good progress right now. So that's with that on the full moon. And then the full moon moves along, and the other thing you mentioned was supporting each other. And it's so great because Chiron, the planet of the mentor, healer, our core wounds, is conjunct the north node of our fate. So, and destiny. It's kind of what the lesson we need to learn in this life. And so with Chiron conjunct, it's fairly conjunct it's been for some months, and it will be for another month or so. But right now it's exact. And so we're getting this healing energy. And for a lot of us, that means we have to kind of like look at our wounds. And that means we're going to feel them. And so we may not like this part of the process. It's kind of like getting your wounds worked on is painful, but they're getting worked on in order to heal them. It's also a really great time to engage with a healing process, to find a mentor or a guide or therapy or to do surgery or things like that to get better, because it's not just the wound energy, it's also the healer energy. And so it's a great time to seek out someone to support you in your path and see if you can get some of that deeper work done because, hey, it's up. It's really up. You're noticing it, and it's time to do something about it rather than just to suffer or to wallow in it and identify as a victim. I wrote down the what is called the low drama triangle, which is the victim psychologically has the power to name the roles of the rescuer and the persecutor, and they declare themselves the victim. And someone's doing something to you, someone needs to rescue you. And it's a really strange but incredibly common pattern that Chiron's going to bring up. And victimization happens, but being the victim or playing the victim is not very productive because it's not really about getting better. It's like once you recognize you're wounded, then you can address the wound. You really do need to do the healing work. But if you identify as the victim or if you identify with the wound, nothing happens. You say, well, the government did it to me or my parents did it to me. You're making them the perpetrator, right? And you're not taking responsibility for it. So that's a common psychological pattern that we need to be really aware of at this time because of that north node, our destiny, our fate, our best selves, our next lifetime that we're preparing for. And this is an opportunity to do some deep healing work. So yeah, take these challenges that are coming up emotionally, physically, as an opportunity to do some deep work on them. Um, After that, with the moon swings around and we get an extra day this month. It's a leap year, and it doesn't mean anything astronomically or astrologically. It just shows that the Gregorian calendar, the calendars we use, are not accurate. It's trying to make up for the odd number that the universe actually is. It doesn't do even numbers on anything. And so 24 hours in a day is just an approximation. And so is 365 days in a year. So there has to be this correction. So we get this extra day, which is really interesting for every 4 years to do this correction. So that's just wanted to give you that. Right after that, we get the waning square to the sun, the moon square the sun, and it's waning. It's getting closer to the new moon, which will be coming up. And the moon, like I said, is doing this pretty rapid fire connection with each of the planets. So it swings around, and by the moon is gonna square to that Saturn, Sun, and Mercury all in a row, all on about the third, right around the square of the moon, square of the sun of the moon. And that gives us a deeper opportunity to connect with our purpose. It's kind of, squares are very motivating. So it'll bring focus onto those responsibilities that we think we need to do for our, even what our ego wants, right? But what our self wants. So it's a really great opportunity to think about what you really want. This all happens to be in Pisces, which is the sign of imagination. And so we're in a great time for us to begin manifesting, I would say, but also conceiving, to really bringing into reality the world we want to live in. And all of the chaos and disturbances and breakdowns that we've had are leaving space for that. When things shake and break, then the pieces can be put back together in a unique way. And so we're at the beginning of this building phase where what we are doing for ourselves personally is going to reflect in the world that we're going to live in over the next decades. And it's really vital that we do that inner work and we do that inner imagination to what we really believe would be the highest life that we can live. It's one thing to try to save the world and fix the world and do the external stuff, but really, so within as without, you really do the inner work in order to do the outer work. And without being selfish or narcissistic about it, you see how you can improve yourself, and you have access to your higher imaginations of what you could be now. And so you want to write this stuff down. You want to take steps to it. You want to start talking about it, really doing something about it now. And this is going to go on for a while, but this particular week and month is another portal where you can really grab a hold of your highest aspirations for yourself and your community. Moon moves on around, conjuncts Pluto on the 7th. Then it conjuncts Mars and Venus on the 8th. And so the moon just kind of lights those up. The moon being our emotional body. Each time it touches a planet, kind of gives it a little notice. You'll notice it more. It'll be more emphasized. Finally, it comes around, and Mars is going to be square to Uranus. Uranus is kind of dancing in there a lot right now because we're getting close to a Jupiter Uranus conjunction, which happens in April, but it's already starting to happen. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Good luck. Uranus is the planet of sudden changes, of innovation, of everything changing unexpectedly or out of the blue. So you can imagine how activated things are getting right now. You might notice that there's a lot of changes on the horizon for yourself and for the world. It's all starting to kind of like, wow, it's starting to come to a boil. And the Mars is going to be square Uranus at the end of this week, at the end of the just before the new moon, that is, on the 10th, 9th, and 10th. And so that's going to could be pretty explosive, could be innovative, could be revolutionary. You don't know exactly how this Mars aggression and Uranus is going to combine, but a square, it's often, it can go either way. And that's the thing we need to wonder about squares is like, which is the best way to go? So it happens right before the new moon. And then finally we get to the new moon on the 10th. And Pluto will be sextile Mercury on that day. And Pluto, the underworld, and Mercury, the mind. So, secrets could be revealed. And inspirations can come through. We'll talk about more about that in a couple of weeks, but right now that pretty much covers all of the astrology that we've got going on. It's a pretty intense time, folks, and I understand if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, but if you're staying organized and if you're stepping forward with what's in front of you each day, you'll be fine. You'll do great. Um, I'm going to be traveling for the next few weeks, and that's my Uranus Jupiter thing going off. I'm finally going to step out and do some traveling and go do some yoga and meditation for a few weeks. But we'll still be doing the reports, and you'll see me. Maybe we can do it on the beach or probably in my hotel room. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and the beach will be fun. And I'm so happy for you that you're going to do this retreat. That must be, will be a lot of fun, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's going to be really deep, and it's really good. It's a kind of a gift. Well, it's a definite gift to myself for the last 4 years that we've all gone through. And I just need to kind of recharge and reset. And this is part of that process is like, okay, I'm getting ready because like I said, this is an initiating time. And so I'm taking it really seriously by saying, okay, how can I strengthen and reinforce and finish the process of all of the growth that I've been forced to do in the last 4 years. It was like grow or perish because things were so challenging ever since 2020 when Pluto conjuncted Saturn and we went right into the plague, and everything changed. And now we're heading towards the new Earth. And it's not what we expected, but it's also something we can create by our own actions in our personal lives. I truly believe that.
Oh, that's funny that you are saying this because I had a conversation today with one of my, shall I call it, house? No, it's not housemate, community mates, about the new Earth, but that she was feeling that there's more a transition, like we're not there yet, and we are in the. That's how I feel it, at least. We are in the trenches. We are
Yeah,
doing the groundwork, the grinding, the churning, like you said last time, the
yeah,
churning to to build this new Earth, and to at least have more awareness of how we go about with the earth and with each other and in relationships, and yeah,
yeah. When things
it's
get
happening.
chaotic, it's when the artist within can take those pieces and build something new. I'm not going to ascribe to the perfection of what could come out because it's always a mix and humans are involved, but we can do better than we are
Mm.
doing. And so we're getting it in our face how we're not getting it right. And, the crisis is opportunity at the same time. So we are not going to always enjoy the stresses we're under, but if we keep our eye on the prize and each of us individually do our work, that's where it really happens. It's like your realm of influence, which is centered on yourself. You're the one who can manage yourself the best. And it's hard to manage others. And it's very hard to manage worlds and communities and nations from here. But if you can get yourself right, if you can do kind acts all day long, if you can manage the thoughts in your mind, and work on that, which is why I'm doing the meditation. You know, if you can keep your body healthy, so you're not in pain or suffering or weak, which is, you know, why I'm doing yoga, energy work. Those are the greatest gifts you can give to your people, your community,
Mm.
your friends, your family, is to be mentally and physically healthy and doing good in the world, to try to create some beautiful art, you know, and point out with the dark art where things aren't right. It's like, no, not that. This. So,
It makes me think about, we're talking here about the Japanese art form where things that are broken, they get glued back together. Is it
yeah,
kitsugi? I have no clue. I
it's
don't know if
I
I.
can't remember the word. It's kineseka quanta, you know, it's Japanese, and I just saw it yesterday, which is written down.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, synchronicities are happening all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's great that you mentioned that. But yeah, it is taking the broken thing and make it more beautiful, which is the constant process of a life.
Mm,
Is life is,
exactly.
you know, breaking you down, and you keep putting it back together in a better way if you can, to the best of your
Yeah.
ability. And eventually things just are incredibly beautiful. This is why older elders, wise elders, are so beautiful. You know,
Are you
they
talking
keep,
about yourself?
no, no, I
Yeah,
won't
you
make any
are.
claims. I won't make any claims to either beauty or wisdom. Um,
Um,
I am getting elder, you know, so there's no way around that. I think 65 qualifies as at least the beginning of elderhood. Um, I was just listening to Michael Mead speak about how people, the average age was about 46 back in the Middle Ages. And so you were an elder at 40, right?
wow.
But now our elders are in their 80s and 90s, and we've had a lot more time to make mistakes and fix them and learn from them and then transmit that information to the youth.
Mm,
So we've kind of extended out youth longer, but our elderhood also arrives later and is extended out. So it's like, yeah, we got more time than we've ever had before to offer up, to return the gift of our life and our wisdom, our knowledge. I shouldn't say wisdom, but what we've learned. And that's what an elder does. It's not just getting old, you know. It's like, no, I'm just desperate to give back what I've learned that is sacred, you know, for the deep
mm,
stuff, not just how to, you know,
exactly.
balance a checkbook and you know, do shopping, how to buy a house. Those are all great
No, and
things, but you know,
I also wanted to acknowledge you. Like you've been feeling like you are moving in a new phase, the phase of the elder, and you've been working a lot of years, with these topics also that we are connecting to. So yeah, I just wanted to show you some love there and
thank you
to
so much.
acknowledge you,
I really
to
appreciate it.
acknowledge
Yeah.
you in
Yeah.
that role
I,
because
I really appreciate it. I'm going to get more of that. You know how it is, the older you get, the more people go, wow. And, you know, I have an ego ambition to be just the most awesome, healthy elder you've ever seen. I think there's a new meme coming. A lot of the boomers are like, have aspirations to have a healthy and productive elder life, which they did not see their parents do. Um, and so there's a lot of us out there who are kind of like hustling hard in our 60s and 70s and not just giving in to the, you know, sit there and watch TV all day and retire and slowly melt into the couch. Um, yeah, we've got things to do and the world's in trouble. And so, you know, we've got to
yeah,
do our work. I think everybody's becoming an elder in some way. If you're paying attention, you're doing your wisdom work. I like it that you
yeah,
mentioned the practices too, because the practices are really essential. And that's something everybody, I would love to see more people doing is um, spiritual or energetic practices that kept them in contact with the, well, the sacred and with their energy and with the energies of the world, rather than
Mm,
shutting it off and spending time watching even these YouTube videos, you know? So,
exactly. But
yeah.
it's so, it's true what you're saying. It is, mm, for me personally, it's one of the most valuable things because you get, by doing that, so much information from your intuition, and to learn about, hey, what is going on inside of me, what is going on with energy, how can I move energy through my body, how can I feel others. And for me, this opened up a whole different realm, to the extent where I can now give these readings or get insights um, about connections or stuff that is going on in the world. So related to clairsentience and clairvoyance. And I feel that everyone, you know, can play with this, and can, or don't always play with it, because it is very serious work as well. I also want to emphasize that, but it's also fun. So to at least play
Yeah.
with your own energy. And then I would like to also say that with the masculine and the feminine aspect, mm, it was only up until a couple of years back. I think it started 6 years back that I became aware of these aspects in me. They were already there, but I wasn't that much in touch with myself, you know. And then when everything opened up more and I gained more clarity, then I was like, oh, this really feels okay, that action. And I can also sometimes really feel, might sound weird for some people, but I can feel really manly, and also with a woman. You know, there are some women where my masculine wants to step up and guard and create safety, and I really feel that shift inside of myself. And then with the feminine as well, I've been more. That's why I was also referring to sometimes the masculine can uh, take it over, you know, as a coping mechanism, or the feminine. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, but that also happened with me. I was mostly in my um, yeah, in my masculine energy, and that's fun because it's action orientated, and it's a little bit of hunting, and it's playing, and it's yeah, a lot of beautiful stuff. It was good to work that out, but yeah, now I feel like there's more and more the feminine. uh, yeah, I'm getting a little bit more quiet and tranquil, and
Yeah. A
there's
little
more space
balance.
for that
That's
balance
that
out.
Mars Venus kind of showing up as balance. But we all carry these energies within us as archetypes, and some will be emphasized more than others. But I truly believe that the world, with the number of people on it and the number of human beings who are now feeling more balanced, to the point where it's become a big deal around gender, because we're feeling both of these in us and not necessarily polarized into one or the other. And it can show up in lots of different ways for people. But I believe that that is ultimately pretty healthy for us, is to be able to access these energies within us in a good way when necessary. So that, but there's nothing wrong with being polarized either. It's just part of the human spectrum. Some people are more masculine, and some people are more feminine acting or movement. And whether it's conditioning or physicality, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes you want a badass warrior to show up and fucking take care of the dragon without thinking about it too damn much. And, that's kind of a masculine cliche way of doing things. That's a masculine energy, is just all in. And in that particular way, especially with fighting or boundaries or protection, that kind of stuff. But there's no reason why it has to be labeled as masculine and feminine. I think of it as yin and yang. and the way the dualistic universe works. And we're just coming into a different balance now. We're more aware of the toxic side, I would say, of extremes. Any extreme is
Mm.
going to have the extreme opposite polarity. So balance is nicer, balance is better. And being able to do the thing or to be able to nurture the thing, whatever it is, to be able to move from one to the other as the situation requires it. That's wisdom, in my
And
opinion.
on that bombshell, I feel
All
that's
right.
a beautiful way to round up.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
feel?
Thanks everybody who stuck with it all the way through. Look for our, the written reports on Instagram and Facebook. Um, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And thanks, Phina. That was another great conversation.
And thank you, and also have such a good trip. I am looking so forward to seeing you sitting with your butt in the sand and doing this reading together.
Yeah, I'll send some pictures for sure. We'll see what the internet is like in
Mm.
Mazunte. So see what we can pull off. So it sounds like fun. I can't wait. I'm super excited.
Good. Okay, well, everyone, see you next time, and have a good 2 weeks, I'd say.